Hey, this is Eric Thorson, and we're going to create the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. We're going to create the world's biggest country. We go back over 500 years. We're one big happy family. Europe, North America, and South America. And for Australia, we go back over 230 years. So we're all one big happy family because we go back hundreds and hundreds of years. So because we're one big happy family, let's create one big happy country. This is a picture of the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. You can see there's Europe, Canada, Australia, and the U.S. And this is to unite the English-speaking countries. There's a UK, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Ireland, UK and Ireland, Australia, Canada, and the US. We're all big English-speaking countries. Now, of course, they speak a lot of French, in Canada, and they speak a lot of Spanish in the US. We have a respect for every language, but most of us speak English, so I'm going to say unite the English-speaking countries. That's one of our goals. And since we're going to unite the English-speaking countries, these are the Spanish-speaking countries, so we're going to ask them to unite also. Because, we're all neighbors. And we could also even have the Europe, North America, South America, Australian Union. We go back hundreds and hundreds of years, so we're all one big happy family. So in addition to uniting the English-speaking countries, and in this video I'm going to call it the English-speaking countries, and of course we have a respect for all the languages of everybody else. Unite the English-speaking countries, and unite the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. We're also going to have Europe, North America, South America, and Australia. We also want to help create that union also. So what I'd like to do is talk about a city in every one of these areas. And remember, the goal is to talk about a city in every one of these areas. The goal is to unite us into one big happy country, or at least one big happy union. For the United States, I'm going to talk about Fort Smith, Arkansas. For Canada, I'm going to talk about the city of Cartwright in Labrador, Canada. For Australia, I'm going to talk about the city of Roseberry in Tasmania, Australia. For the UK and Ireland, I'm going to talk about the city of Ennistymon, Ireland. And for Europe, I'm going to talk about the city of Umea in Sweden. And for South America, I'm going to talk about the city of Pasto in Colombia. And since I am in Colorado doing this video, I make it a point to talk about a local city where I'm at. So the local city I'm going to talk about is Fort Lupton, Colorado. For the American city, I'm going to talk about the city of Fort Smith, Arkansas. There's a picture of the city of Fort Smith, downtown Fort Smith. And there's a picture here. There's the appropriate accreditation right there. And I try to give the appropriate accreditation of every single picture. For the American city, I'm going to talk about the city of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Fort Smith, Arkansas is the second largest city in Arkansas. There is a picture of downtown Fort Smith. There's another picture right there. The city of Fort Smith's nickname, it's called Hell on the Border. It is right on the border there of Oklahoma. And I have personally been to Fort Smith once. It's a very, very beautiful city, very beautiful area. The 2019 estimated population is around 88,000 people. It's situated at where the Arkansas and Poteau rivers meet. It's also known as Bell Point. The city of Smith was occupied by Native Americans for thousands of years, and later on the French came here. It was part of their New France, or the Louisiana territory. Arkansas is right above Louisiana, and it is a very beautiful state. In 1803, the U.S. acquired this area, and the Louisiana Purchase. In 1806, the government sent the famous Pike Expedition to explore the areas along the Arkansas River. In 1817, it was founded as a military post, and Fort Smith was named after this guy, Thomas Adams Smith. He was a brigadier general in the U.S. Army. So Fort Smith was named after this guy, Thomas Adams Smith, and he was a brigadier general in the War of 1812. So that's how Fort Smith got its name, after this guy, Thomas Adams Smith. It was basically an army base, and there were troops there because they were moving a lot of Native Americans, into the Oklahoma territory. It's right there on the Oklahoma border. So this was an army base there that's been there for a while. Fort Smith was also used as a base during the Mexican-American War and during the Mexican War. During the U.S. Civil War, it was occupied by the Confederates for a while, but by September 1st, 1863, the Union Army took it over, and they basically had control of the area there until the end of the war. An animal that's known to go around here is the armadillo. There's the armadillo right there. armadillo. And it's been a really, it's always been a regional manufacturing center. Some of the big companies there are like Georgia Pacific, Gerber, Kraft Heinz, Planters Peanuts, Mars Pet Care, International Paper. So, there's been some really good companies here. And of course, we're trying to create the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union, so we promote sister cities. And one of Fort Smith's sister city is the city of Cisterna, Italy. And Fort Smith has got a sister city relationship with Cisterna, Italy. It was the site of a World War II battle, the Battle of Cisterna, fought by the United States Army Rangers commanded by Fort Smith native William Darby. Yeah, and there's a Fort Smith native William Orlando Darby. Look at this. Darby led the famous Darby's Rangers, which evolved into the U.S. Army Rangers. So that is Fort Smith, Arkansas. And again, there's a picture of Brigadier General Thomas Adams Smith, and that's how Fort Smith is named after Thomas Adams Smith. The Canadian city I'm going to talk about is the city of Cartwright, which is in Labrador, in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada. As you can see, there's Cartwright right there in the map, and there's Canada here, there's Newfoundland and Labrador, and then there's Cartwright right there where Newfoundland and Labrador is, right there in the Atlantic Ocean. This is a picture of the city of Cartwright. That's the picture right there. The city of Cartwright was named after this guy, George Cartwright. He's a trader, and there's a picture of him right there, fur trader. So there's George Cartwright. He settled a place in 1775, and look at this. It says right here, Captain George Cartwright, Captain Cartwright visiting his fox traps. So there he is, it looks like he's with a dog, and he's visiting his fox traps there. And fur trading was a big thing. One of the big things of the economy back there. Now, Cartwright, there's a memorial, commemorating him and his brother John, and this is what right here in Cartwright, at Cartwright Labrador, and this is what it says. In memory of George Cartwright, captain in His Majesty's 37th Regiment of Foot, who in March 1770 made a settlement on the coast of Labrador, also of John Cartwright, Lieutenant of the Guernsey. And look at this guy. He had a love for Labrador. Look at this. This is one of his writings. Fish, fowl, and venison now our tables grace. Roast beaver too, and every beast a chase. Luxurious living this, who'd wish for more. Were Quinn alive, he'd haste to Labrador. So this guy really liked Labrador, and he wanted people to go there. Now, he sold his business interests there to what's Hunt and Henley in 1815, and in 1873 it was sold to the very big Hudson's Bay Company and has remained under company ownership ever since. Now, the 2016 population of this area was around 427 people. So that's the city of George Cartwright, and there's his picture right there. And for Australia, I'm going to talk about the city of Roseberry in Tasmania, Australia. And this Roseberry, on the island of Tasmania. An animal that is common to this area is a Tasmanian padamelon. There's a picture of it. And again, there's a picture of the Tasmanian padamelon. At the 2016 census, Roseberry had a population of about 708. Roseberry is a mining town, and most of the settlements on the west coast of Tasmania are. In 1893, prospector Tom McDonald discovered gold here, along with zinc and lead sulfide. Now, he named this area after the Roseberry Prospecting Association, which was named after Lord Rosebery. So it was named after this guy, the Earl of Rosebery, and this guy was Prime Minister of the UK from 1894 to June 1895. So that's how Roseberry, Tasmania got its name. And again, he's got one of these really cool titles. Archibald Philip Primrose, 5th Earl of Rosebery, 1st Earl of Midlothian. A British Liberal politician who served as Prime Minister of the UK from March 1894 to June 8. So Roseberry, Tasmania was named after this guy, Earl of Rosebery. And of course, the Prime Minister of the UK. So the mine has been continuous since then. It's been doing well. They're still mining. That's what it means, doing well. And even up to this day, they produce zinc, lead, copper, silver, and gold. Here's a picture of some of the mine buildings here in Roseberry. And here's a picture of the Roseberry Station. You can see the Roseberry Station right here. This is the railway bridge over Roseberry Creek. See, there's a better close-up picture of the railway bridge over Roseberry Creek. And here's a picture of disused or bucket way. That was a picture here, a close-up of the disused or bucket way. So that's the city of Roseberry, Tasmania. Yeah, and for the UK and Ireland, I'm going to talk about the city of Ennistymon, Ireland. Now, there's a picture where Ennistymon is right there in Ireland. You know, right there on the west coast. And there's a picture of Ennistymon right there. There you are. Looks like a beautiful town. 2016 population is about over 1,000 people. The town's official name is Ennistymon, although Ennistymon is the spelling most widely used. Historically, it was spelled Ennistymon. This is believed to derive from Ennistymon, meaning Diomane's island. However, this guy named Michael Wagalai argues that the name is derived from Ennistymon, meaning island of the middle house or river meadow of the middle house. Now, what's cool about this is it grew from just 3 cabins in 1775 to 120 houses in the year 1810. In 1824, there was a Christian Brothers monastery, Mount St. Joseph's, that was established here. Now, this is a picture of the falls here at Ennistymon. This is a more close-up look at the pictures of the falls here at Ennistymon. Now, this is a picture of the Anne Gortamore Monument. This is kind of sad. The Great Monument, the Great Hunger Memorial, this was erected a mile outside of Ennistymon on the road to Lahing. That's another city. It's to commemorate the memory of the victims of the Great Famine from 1845 to 1850. Now, here's a picture of St. Andrew's Church. That's a Church of Ireland. There you can see a more up-close picture of the church there. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful church. There it is, St. Andrew's Church. And the twin cities of this town is Ennistymon is twinned with Pozzoleon, Italy, and Scimitar, Greece. So that is Ennistymon, Ireland. Hi, and as for Europe, we're going to talk about the city of Umea in Sweden. Now, there's a city that's Umea, U-M-E-A. That's a really cool name. And that's where Umea is, right there in Sweden, you know, right there close to the Arctic, you know, Viking territory, Umea. Now, Umea was known as a European capital of culture during 2014, along with the city of Riga in Latvia. The European capital of culture is a city designated by the European Union for a period of 1 calendar year during which it organizes a series of cultural events with a strong pan-European dimension. And of course, we're going to create the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. First written mention of Umea is from the 14th century. That's around the 1300s. Originally settled by nomadic Sami people, but never really a permanent settlement. The name is believed to be derived from the Old Norse word Uma, which means roaring. The name of the town would therefore mean the roaring river. And this is one of its nicknames, Björkarna Stad, which means town of birches. The area got settled by Germanic peoples. They started to move up into this area. Its location was near the coast and on a river. That was probably one of the reasons that people chose to settle there. In 1622, the city was founded. This guy right here, Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden, he founded the city in 1622. And of course, Gustavus, so he is the king of Sweden. Gustavus is the king of Sweden. It was interesting. It suffered from Russian attacks in 1714 and again in 1720 when it was burnt to the ground during the Russian pillage of 1719 to 721. And at the close of the Finnish War in 1809, the Russian army under Barclay de Tolly took Umea and held it from June to August. They planted over 3,000 silver birch trees here, and there's a lot of birch trees. That's why it's called Björkarna Stad, or the city of birches. And the ice hockey team, Björklöven, means the birch leaves. The city has it's a scientific economy. Has a lot of science and universities here, and big companies, Volvo, Ericsson, ABB. They work with these PricewaterhouseCoopers, GE Healthcare, other Volvo trucks. So there's got a lot of pretty good economy in this area. A lot of jobs. Siemens is here. So that is the city of Umea in Sweden, and let's create the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. And for the South American city, we're going to talk about the city of Pasto in Colombia. A city of Pasto, Colombia. It's officially called San Juan de Pasto. You know, St. John of Pasto. There's a city of San Juan de Pasto. There's a picture of that. More up-close picture. This is a beautiful picture. And, you know, Colombia, you know, the jungles there in South America, they're absolutely beautiful. You know, this is a really beautiful place. Nicknames are the Surprise Cities, Theological City, and Galera's Land. There it is in English and Spanish. And motto is very noble and very loyal city of San Juan de Pasto. I believe this was a loyalist city during the Spanish Wars of Independence. I believe that means they were loyal to like the kings and queens more. And there's a city of San Juan de Pasto. There's a location right there in Colombia. Now, it's called Pasto because the indigenous people, you know, the Native Americans, you know, of this area, the native South Americans, they were called the Pastos. So that's why they called the city Pastos. The city was founded in 1537 by the Spanish conquistador Sebastian de Belalcazar. There's a picture of this guy. Now, this guy was pretty tough. That's what I hear. He's a really tough, ruthless guy. This guy was he was known for the Spanish conquest of the Inca Empire, and was founder of Cali, founder of Pasto, and the founder of Popayan. Those are other cities in Colombia. And I believe he also settled Quito, or started a new settlement in the new area of Quito. You know, that's the capital of Ecuador in 1534. The city has a strong religious heritage. It's been a religious center. The city was known as the Theological City of Colombia, you know, and also, so during the independence wars of Spain, Pasto was a royalist city. 2018 census, Pasto had a population of almost 400,000 people right there. And there's a picture of a carnival float, Pasto, Colombia. There's a picture right here of the carnival float. So that's really cool. You know, they have a very lively, you know, fun culture in, you know, in Latin America. You know, looks like a Mardi Gras. Kind of reminds me of a Mardi Gras float right there in New Orleans. So that's one of their floats there. And there's a picture of La Cocha Lake in the Andes Mountains. That's in the south of Colombia. That's about 27 kilometers from Pasto. And there's a more up-close picture of this right here. That's in the Andes Mountains. So that is the city of San Juan de Pasto. Hi everyone, and since I'm doing this video in Colorado, I make it a point to talk about a local city of where I'm at. So I'm going to talk about the city of Fort Lupton, Colorado. City of Fort Lupton, Colorado. It's a statutory city located in Weld County, Colorado. In 2010, the population was around 7,400 people. There's a picture of where Fort Lupton is in Colorado. You know, see that's pretty close to Wyoming, you know, northern Colorado. There's a picture here of the streets right here in Fort Lupton. There's the picture right there of the streets. The city was named for Lieutenant Lancaster Lupton. This guy built a trading post right there in Adobe Creek in 1838. The trading post, Fort Lupton, has been reconstructed, and it's used some of the original adobe bricks at the South Platte Valley Historical Park. Now, this guy, Lancaster Lupton, where Fort Lupton was named after, he attended West Point University, and he was the member of Colonel Henry Dodge's United States Regiment of Dragoons. They were like a tough military group, you know. And when they passed through the South Platte Valley in what would become Colorado, Lupton saw the potential for a successful trading post on the banks of the South Platte River. So he resigned, you know, the United States Regiment of Dragoons, and he started, and he returned, he returned to what at first it was called Fort Lancaster, and later would be called Fort Lupton after his name. Lupton, he married the daughter of an Indian chief named Tomas, and they remained married until his death in 1885. Now, in 1844, there was a really harsh blizzard, a tough snow blizzard. It caused the fort to close, and Lupton moved his family south to very close to modern-day Pueblo, Colorado. Later, they moved to California during the 1849 gold rush. Lupton lived in California until his death in 1885. So, Fort Lupton was named after that guy. And a motto of Fort Lupton is right here, where tradition builds the future. And again, we could unite the English-speaking countries, the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, and the US, the European, American, Australian, Canadian Union. And because we are going to unite the English-speaking countries, we also want to encourage our neighbors, the Spanish and Portuguese-speaking countries, to unite. And eventually, hopefully, we're going to have Europe, North America, South America, and Australia. We can all become one big, super happy country. And again, I just want to remind you, everything in this video is public domain. It's released to the public. All the cities and countries I mentioned in here, they have no official affiliation with me. I just picked them off a map. Let's create the world's biggest country. So let's talk about these cities. It's all public information. Most of it is from Wikipedia, and some of it from my common knowledge, but most of it is from Wikipedia. And so it's Creative Commons. You're allowed to talk about it. Again, public domain. Anybody could use any of this video. It's public information. And remember, everyone, we go back hundreds of years, so we're all one big happy family. So let's become one big happy country.